There's a common saying we hear a lot: you can judge a book by its cover. But that isn't always true. And nowhere is that more obvious than in the wild. There are animals that look innocent: wide eyes, soft fur, slow movements that give you a sense of safety. But behind that appearance lies a story written in the language of venom, fangs, and claws. Many times the creature that looks cute, harmless, and adorable is actually armed with an arsenal of weapons capable of ending a human life in just minutes. Welcome everyone. But before we begin, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest videos. When we look at the slow loris, the first word that probably comes to mind is cute. Its large round eyes resemble those of a baby. Its tiny furry body, combined with its extremely slow movement, makes it look more like a stuffed toy than a real animal. For a while, videos of slow lorises became hugely popular online, especially the one where someone was tickling one while it raised its arms in the air, seeming to enjoy it. But this is where the big deception begins. That movement wasn't pleasure at all. It was fear. When a slow loris raises its arms like that, it is actually trying to reach a gland located near its elbow, called the brachial gland. This gland secretes a clear, oily substance. When the loris licks this secretion and mixes it with its saliva, it becomes toxic. Then it delivers that venom through a bite, meaning the toxin enters directly into the wound. The symptoms can include intense pain, but honestly, that's the least worrying part. Its venom has cell-destroying properties that literally cause flesh to rot. The tissue around the bite can begin to die. Wounds may take months to heal, and permanent disfigurement can remain. Even more alarming, scientists discovered that proteins in slow loris venom resemble the same allergenic protein found in cats. It is known as FeLD1. That explains why some people bitten by lorises went into severe anaphylactic shock, which can be fatal if not treated immediately. Although human deaths are rare, they have been documented. So no, it's not impossible. What's even more surprising is that this venom wasn't mainly designed for predators. Slow lorises primarily use it against each other. An 8-year study found that males use this venom in territorial fights. Researchers observed many wild males covered in infected and rotting bite wounds. You could say they're fighting toxic civil wars. And that's not all. Lorises also rub venom onto their own fur and onto the fur of their babies, so that any predator trying to eat them gets poison. Many people see the pufferfish as a funny-looking creature, a puffed-up fish with wide eyes and a tiny mouth that always seems upset. When frightened, it inflates into a ball. But behind that cartoonish look hides one of the most powerful neurotoxins known to humanity, tetrodotoxin, or TTX. This toxin is concentrated mainly in the internal organs, especially the liver, ovaries, and skin. Some estimates suggest it is about 1,200 times more toxic than cyanide. A single pufferfish may contain enough toxin to kill 30 adult humans. And the worst part? There is no antidote. If a large enough dose enters the body, medicine can do very little beyond supportive care. Once inside the body, the toxin blocks sodium channels in the nerves. To understand that, imagine the nervous system as electrical cables carrying movement signals from the brain to the body. This toxin cuts those cables completely. The result is paralysis. Within minutes, numbness begins in the lips and tongue, then dizziness, vomiting, and suddenly the victim can no longer move their hands or legs. Even more terrifying, the toxin does not affect consciousness at first. That means the victim may remain fully awake, seeing and hearing everything, but unable to move a single muscle. They remain trapped like that until the diaphragm stops working, respiratory failure occurs, and the victim suffocates. The only way to survive is immediate hospitalization and placement on a ventilator, which breathes for the patient until the body slowly clears the toxin on its own, and that can take many long hours. The strangest part of all? The fish is innocent when it comes to producing the toxin itself. Pufferfish do not naturally make tetrodotoxin. They acquire it from bacteria found in their diet, such as algae and small crustaceans. The proof? When raised in controlled fish farms, pufferfish can be completely non-toxic. The fish itself has a genetic mutation that makes its sodium channels resistant to the toxin, so it doesn't get harmed by its own poison. And despite all the dangers we mentioned, People in Japan still pay huge amounts of money to eat this dish, known as fugu. Any chef who prepares it must have a special license specifically for handling this fish, because even the smallest mistake while removing the toxic organs can mean certain death for the person eating it. And despite all these precautions, poisoning cases and deaths still happen every year. If you enter the forests of Central and South America, you might come across what looks like a moving piece of art, a very tiny frog, maybe no bigger than the tip of a finger. But its colors are beyond imagination. Bright blue, vivid yellow, fiery red, as if it were a real gemstone. Its beauty makes many people describe it as cute and attractive. But in nature, bright colors are rarely for decoration. There is a phenomenon called warning coloration, which basically means that when you see vivid colors in nature, it does not mean, come closer, how cute. It means, if you get close, you'll regret it. That tiny, adorable frog is actually a walking chemical weapon. Its skin secretes one of the most powerful toxins in nature, batrachotoxin, or BTX. This toxin works completely differently from pufferfish toxin. If tetrodotoxin closes sodium channels, batrachotoxin does the exact opposite. It forces sodium channels wide open. The result is that nerves continue firing electrical signals nonstop. Muscles keep contracting violently and continuously, until heart failure and complete paralysis occur. The power of this toxin is terrifying. The golden poison frog, considered the most dangerous species among them, carries enough toxin on its skin to kill between 10 and 20 humans, or around 20,000 mice. That means if someone with even a small cut on their hand touched this frog, it could become a disaster. This is why indigenous people in Colombia historically used the toxin for hunting. They would rub the tips of their arrows on the frog so the arrows became poison. Even more amazing, the toxin could remain active on the arrow for an entire year while stored. And that is where the famous name poison dart frog came from. Like pufferfish, these frogs do not produce the toxin themselves. They obtain it through their diet, mainly certain ants and beetles living in the rainforest. That is why when these frogs are raised outside the wild, they usually lose their toxicity. The platypus is an animal you could describe as a moving biological mystery. When scientists first saw it in Australia, they thought it was fake, or that someone was playing a prank on them. Imagine a mammal that lays eggs, has a duck-like bill, a beaver-like tail, and fur similar to an otter. It feels like something straight out of a fantasy story. Yet despite its cute appearance, hidden inside this strange design is another surprise. The male platypus is one of the very few mammals in the world equipped with venom. Its weapon is a sharp, bony spur located on the heel of its hind leg, known as a venom spur. That spur is connected to a venom gland, allowing it to inject venom into anything that threatens it. And although it usually doesn't use it offensively, it uses it mainly for defense. But researchers noticed that venom production in the platypus increases dramatically during mating season. Because of that, scientists concluded that the platypus likely uses this venom in battles between males, either to control territory or compete for mating opportunities. Fortunately, this venom is not considered fatal to humans. There are no recorded human deaths caused by platypus venom, but that does not mean it is harmless. A single strike from the platypus spur can cause excruciating pain throughout the body because the venom acts directly on pain receptors and can also disrupt blood pressure. The pain may last for days or weeks, and in some cases, for continuous months. Even worse, the pain is known to resist some of the strongest painkillers known to medicine. Even morphine may have little effect. In one documented case, a woman who tried to rescue a platypus was stung in the hand and later said the pain she experienced was worse than childbirth. In addition to pain, the venom causes severe swelling in the affected area and can kill smaller animals such as dogs. Finally, in the world of oceans, size is not always a measure of danger. The blue-ringed octopus, usually no more than 12 to 20 centimeters in size, is perfect proof of that. A tiny creature with beautiful colors and a cute appearance. You could almost hide it in the palm of your hand. Yet the moment it senses danger, it undergoes a dramatic transformation. Bright blue rings begin flashing across its body. That is not decoration. That is a warning. The weapon used by this octopus is the same one used by pufferfish, tetrodotoxin. The toxin is present in its saliva and delivered through a bite from its beak, which resembles a parrot's beak. The bite itself can be so small and painless that many people are bitten without even realizing it. You might ask, then where is the danger? The danger is that victims often only realize what happened when symptoms begin. A single blue-ringed octopus may carry enough toxin to kill around 26 adult humans within minutes. As mentioned earlier, tetrodotoxin causes total paralysis while the victim remains fully conscious, until death occurs from respiratory failure. And there is no antidote. That makes the danger even greater because the victim may not know they were bitten until valuable time has already passed. Most accidents happen by chance. Someone walking barefoot on the beach may step on one while it is hiding beneath a rock. There are documented fatalities caused by this tiny octopus. The only effective chance of survival is immediate and continuous artificial respiration until the body clears the toxin naturally, a process that can sometimes take a full 24 hours. Thankfully, the blue-ringed octopus is not aggressive. It strongly prefers to flee unless it feels trapped with no escape. And that's it. If you made it this far, make sure to leave a like before you go, so we know how many people reach the end. And don't forget, if you have suggestions for future videos, write them in the comments. See you.